Hey everyone, happy Monday. This is Peter from the Bennett Center. I hope you're all having a great Memorial Day weekend and taking some time for yourself. I wanted to reach out to you today about something that I think can be a real differentiator for you when setting up networking calls, whether it's an alum or non-alum, a regular call, in particular a Zoom call, and that is creating an agenda. So I wanted to give you some quick tips on how to do that and why I think it's a good idea for you before having these calls. Why should you create an agenda? There's a real benefit to your audience when having this done in advance. It demonstrates that you've given real thought to what the discussion is going to look like, which leads to people assuming that you've also done some research. And that's probably the number one comment that we get from alumni on these types of phone calls. It shows you're organized, prepared, and professional. It also shows this is how you would go about a meeting in an actual work environment. It also offers them the ability to be more prepared. They're obviously very busy, and so to know what they're going to talk about beforehand is very, very helpful because they may not have time to prepare for an off-the-cuff discussion. The benefits to you, it can be a little unnerving having a conversation, especially on Zoom, and not knowing exactly how it's going to play out. And I suppose you never do, but at least this gives you a roadmap that you can use for the discussion. And if for some reason you start to talk about soccer or home country or Python, whatever it might be, you have an anchor you can get back to during the discussion. First impressions are really important. We all know that, and this is a prepared and organized first impression. And it really does give you the opportunity to lead the discussion with the alum. I also think that it will provide the opportunity to have a better outcome because the topics were given in advance. So, when and how? The agenda can be shared when you're confirming the date and time of the meeting, maybe 2 or 3 days before you're supposed to talk with the alum. And this is just an example that I have, and obviously you're all creative and come up with your own notes, but good afternoon. I hope you had a great weekend. I'm looking forward to our call this Thursday. You're offering the date and the time. I gave some thought to our discussion and created an informal agenda for your review. I want to make sure I respect your time. I hope you're comfortable with the topics. If you would like any changes or additions, certainly let me know. That really encapsulates all you're looking to get across to them in a first impression, and you're really setting yourself up for a fruitful discussion with the alum. So here's an example of an agenda. Very basic, very simple. Introduction, a brief overview of their current role, the specific topics and reasons of why you wanted to connect with them, any questions or feedback they may have based on the discussion. And this is really important. You should always offer to be a resource for them. Remember, even if you don't have a lot of work experience, you do work for a university that has an awful lot of resources, and you might be able to connect them in some way to someone they're interested in meeting. You'll talk about follow-up, and then obviously, as always, thank them for their time. So for the introduction, this is an opportunity for you to highlight how you're aligned with this alum, their team, and or their company. Don't take it for granted that they either remember why you were interested in their organization or that they might know. So it gives you a chance to offer a powerful statement. As I mentioned in my original note, I am completing my master's degree in marketing analytics at Simon, graduating in December 2020. I have a passion for analytics, specifically related to data science in media. That brings them right to focus on why it is you're talking with them, and that's a very relevant statement, and it's a powerful statement because that will frame your discussion moving forward. The brief overview of their current role. Obviously, you're going to research and know to a large extent what they're doing, but you've given them the opportunity to do a deeper dive and talk more about what their day-to-day might look like. People love to talk about themselves, especially with smart and curious people like all of you are, and they'll probably be a lot more willing to do that because you were so prepared with the agenda and for the discussion. For the specific topics, I mean, this is really up to you. It might be a current project they're working on that you saw on their LinkedIn profile. It could be something you read about with an AI rollout for the organization. The net impact initiative I put here is Habitat for Humanity. Maybe you saw that the company is, really into volunteerism with their employees, and that's a value that you share with the organization or with this team. So that's common ground there that you can discuss with someone that would attract you to their company. You can also talk about their career track and the decision making that they made along the way. And as always, specific advice on your approach to your job search and to the market. So really this is personal, whatever you would like to talk to the alum about. And then questions and feedback. What you're really looking to do here is just gauge their sense of how they see your perspective, how they see your opinions and your discussion with them. So many alums will offer you feedback, and it's critical that you ask for it because you want to improve each time you can. But they also might give you some really effective opinions on how to approach things a little bit differently. So this is a good area to focus on. And then, as I mentioned, the resource. We have a data science center, we have a medical center, we have obviously an undergraduate program, we have engineering. There are an awful lot of people in the UR network that you can help them connect to potentially. People like the idea that you're thinking about them, at least you're offering. And then for the follow-up, this is probably the most challenging step for students, and it's certainly understandable. These are just some examples of things that you can ask about. This is really subjective. It's up to you to decide based on all things and based on your interaction, what would be the most appropriate or relevant based on those discussions. Keeping posted on your progress, reconnecting in 3 to 4 weeks to follow up on status. You might see an opportunity posted at their company that they weren't aware of. Can you send them a note and why you're qualified for that? What if there's someone in their LinkedIn community that you really want to talk with? Maybe you have an interview coming up and you had a great conversation with them and you want to be able to talk to them about a specific technical question that you think might come up on the interview. That's okay too. And also sharing information with them as you conduct your research, things that they might be interested in. So the whole idea here is obviously staying connected with them. And hopefully the first part of this agenda will lead you to the credibility to be able to ask about these things. It's important to think of this in advance so that you're not scrambling for this at the end of your call. And then obviously a thank you. So I hope this helps. I'm happy to talk with any of you live about this. Again, I think this is a really great opportunity to set yourself apart from others and increase the likelihood that you'll get the outcome you want from these phone calls or Zoom sessions. So thanks again, and I hope you guys have a great day.